Today's video is going to be a bit personal because I've gone back to my past where I was brought up. I thought I'd come here today and tell you a few stories and things what have happened to me whilst living in this area. The area itself is called Hollythwood, and I was born on the estate, the housing estate, just over on that side. Born in a house actually, born in the front bedroom over there, and I'll probably go and walk past to just see what it looks like now in a little while after I've finished around this place. This place is, as you can see behind me, is Hollythwood Museum. It is a museum now, but it used to be the home of Samuel Crompton, who invented the spinning mule, what more or less started the Industrial Revolution up here up north. So yeah, I thought I'd come over and give you a few of my accounts of what's happened to me whilst being young in this area and growing up to my teens, and then getting into my 20s, and that's when I moved away and moved to another side of Bolton, closer to Winter Hill itself. Not long after leaving the area of Hollythwood and moving to the other side of Bolton, I had a strange account at this point where I'm walking up now. I was walking up one day, one hot summer's day at that, and I got to about the point I'm at now, and I started feeling cold, as though there were a bit of frost coming over, that sort of coldness. And I got to this point and I looked over to my right towards a door, and stood there was a lady dressed in Victorian clothing like a kitchen maid, just stood there looking at me. And I looked towards her and looked at her, and she looked straight back at me, and I was walking up feeling cold, getting a shiver and thinking this doesn't seem right. And as I looked at her face and she looked at me, I just said hello to her. Now she didn't say anything back, but I carried on walking. And as I carried on walking, I got so many paces up here, it started to get a little bit warmer again, back to that summer's day warmth. I started feeling a little bit better. But as I turned round, there was nobody there. She wasn't stood at the door where I saw her at first. So I walked a bit along here, and as I got to the main gate, I looked to my right, looking in the gardens where I was stood a little while ago, thinking there might have been a film crew around here, because this museum is used quite often for period dramas and things like that. You usually get the BBC coming over and doing a little bit of filming here. In fact, I know the Most Haunted crew have done an episode in this museum in the past. So I thought something like that was going on. Anyway, when I got to this point, I looked round and expecting all this bit around here to have a film crew in there. But there was nobody there, and the way I felt when I walked past her, I didn't really want to hang around here. I just wanted to get home. So that's exactly what I did. I just went all the way home. Anyway, when I got there and I told my wife at that point what had happened, and she said as I got through the door I looked really white, and it looked as though so much, I'd had a bit of a shock, and well, I had, because when I realised and I thought about it, I then realised that this wasn't a person there, it was an apparition of a person. But actually, to be standing there and staring at me the way she did freaked me out even more when I thought about it. And I still think about it these days, still think about what I saw at that side door in the house behind me. Now, I spoke about a ley line that runs through here, and I spoke about it in past when we went to the Stone Circle at Cheetham Close Stone Circle a few weeks back, and I did a little bit of a video on that. And I was talking about it going through an area called Hollywood. Now this is it, this is a ley line where it goes through. And there's plenty of people who've had strange experiences in that building behind me. The very first time I had a strange experience, I must have been about 6 years old. And it happened in this very field I'm studying here. You can see the museum there in the background. And it was where I am now, in a straight line towards the house behind. It was in the middle of the field there. And this is a strange one because I can't explain this one, and no matter how many times I speak to people about this, it's just unbelievable to why would I have seen what I saw that day. But there were actually 5 of us. And at the time I would have been about 5 or 6, and I remember coming down here with my sister and her friends, and I think at the time she was a lot older than me, and she was babysitting me, so I were hanging around with the friends, and we came down a road that's just in front of me, and we walked down this little road and we got to this area, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the field there was a glow, like an almost fluorescent glow, and it turned into a chair, an high back, old-fashioned chair, like a monk's chair but thinner and taller, and it was just there in the middle of the field, and it was glowing. You can imagine a green glow stick, and it was that colour. And it was glowing all around this chair, like that, and on the chair itself. It was there. I remember walking down towards it, stopping with my sister and the friends, and it was just there. It just appeared, and I remember us all turning and running off, and running back up, and going telling our parents what had happened. Now it's unexplainable, and I can't imagine what this could have been, just to appear like that, a chair appearing in the middle of a field near an old place like this. But again, the ley line runs through here, so we're having all these strange experiences here. Now, in the past, I've been around the back of the museum before there was all this fencing that's around it now, and it was quite open and you could walk around the area. And as children, it must have been about, I'd say about 10, between 10 and 12, and we used to go around the back, and at night we'd come down at Halloween, like you do with your friends, and trying to scare each other, and we used to go around the back and dare each other to go around the back and down some steps where there was a cellar, and stay there as long as we could. Now, we do this every year, and sometimes during the year we'd go and do it, and we'd go around the back when it was dark, because around there was no lighting, and it was very, very dark. So we'd go around one at a time, and we'd see how long we could stay behind there. And I remember one of my friends, it happened into him, and he said when he got to the bottom of the stairs and he looked up towards a window, he saw the face of a cavalier looking out at him. And at that point, he came round screaming and saying what he'd seen, and we all ended up running off like you do when you're children. So it's not only me who's had experiences around here; it's other people who I've been with, people who I've grown up with. There's been a lot of experiences hearing horse hooves tramping up and down the cobbles. That's a well-known sound that people hear around this area. All I can say about the museum at the moment is how much of a disrepair it's in and how disgusted I am at the Bolton Council for letting it get to that point. Smashed windows, it's not good. You know, if you want to make money on somewhere like that to bring tourists in, you know, it's worth doing it up and getting it advertised and telling people about the history of it and getting it out there so people will come and visit. I know the place is only open now 1 day a week, and I think that's through the summer months, which I think it should be open all year round, and maybe over a weekend so people can come and visit. So Bolton Council, you need to pull your socks up and get something done about this, because it's a disgrace. I'm in an area of Hollywood, a big wooded area that stretches from here all the way over to a place called Dunsker and going through Bradshaw, and it's a big wooded area with a few ruins here and there of old buildings like from the 17 and 1800s that have they've collapsed to nothing these days, so you can't really see where most of them were. And I've come to visit this area because, you know, I like bringing back childhood memories of hanging around in this place, and it was great to come out here, and I used to do a lot of camping in this area in my teens. Just coming over, getting the tents and bringing them in and coming over with friends, and we'd have a little campfire and just sit around and laugh and joke like you do when you're teens, and just hang around. I really enjoy it. And that's why I still get out there camping these days. I just really enjoy going out there into nature and enjoying it. But where I am today is an area where I remember as being a child, there's always local folklore stories of places, and I know I've mentioned this before, but around here in these very woods is just behind me. There's there's a bit of a dip in the ground. Now it was a lot deeper than what it is today at that time, and we used to dare each other to stand in this and say 3 times the name Juno. And apparently there was a 3-legged horse that was buried in this plot, and if you did this it would come and scare you away if you said its name 3 times, a bit like the Beetlejuice film saying Beetlejuice 3 times. And it's another thing as we did when we were little children, and everyone around the estate where I came from, everyone knew this story. So we used to, another place we used to come and dare each other to go and stand on this grave and say this, you know, Juno 3 times, and then we'd all run, you know, like you do with being kids, you'd all run and scream and have a laugh about it. Anything for a little bit of a scare. So, you know, and again, this ley line that goes through the museum, it actually comes through this point, and it's strange how you get that folklore story, a local folklore story, about something like that going through, and not knowing there's a ley line going through, because all these places I used to visit around here, I never knew there was a ley line coming through until I started researching it. And now I look into this area and I follow these lines and I think, wow, they used to come through here, you know, unbeknown to me, they used to come through here, and why were all these people having these strange experiences? Because in these woods as well, I do remember one story, and just vaguely being told as a child that there was some kids up here who were playing in the woods one night and they saw a red eye shine moving around, and it scared them, and they ended up doing a runner as well. So what was that in this small bit of wooded area? You know, what was red eye shine doing around here? You know, and it's not until now when what I look into and I look back at the stories I used to get from around this area, or used to hear, should I say, not get, were all pertaining to these strange things what I look into now. And it's quite strange, we've got this layer running through this area. So I've had a nice walk around memory lane, seen all the old places what I grew up in. It's been quite a nice experience. So I'm going to start heading my way back home, going over the fields. quite strange coming to these places after so many years, seeing how different it is in places and how same it is in some places. Some places no change, and other places changes that much I don't even recognise it. But where I am walking down this path, not much has changed. Still it's the same. Just nice getting to places I've not been to for over 15 years up to now. Was the last time I actually came around walking around. Well, I've never received any reports from this area pertaining any unusual things happening. I hope you've enjoyed joining me on this little journey, showing you all the memories I've had, all the unusual and all the not so unusual memories. Yeah, it's been quite nice, and it's nice sitting here just before heading off back home and relaxing before I'm not far from the main road now, but that's the way I'm going back, so I'm going to put all the equipment away, and I'd just like to say thanks for coming along, and thanks for enjoying this as well. I've been enjoying it, and hope to see you on the next one. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment, and please share. And yeah, I'll see you again in the next one. See you all later.